Today we're going to demonstrate how to take a nutrient soil sample. Knowing what's in your soil can help you determine what soil amendments to add. Do you need to add fertilizer? Do you need to add lime? And maybe even something for micronutrients. When taking your soil sample, you want to make sure that it accurately represents your management area. So we have a 2 or 3 acre field here. It's fairly uniform, but there's some aspects of it that we don't want to sample. Some of the edge areas that maybe didn't get fertilized, some of the headlands which may, again, the application equipment may have missed or just have different management. If we had some wet areas in the field, we would want to avoid them too. So we want to sample areas of the field that really represent the whole field. But that said, when we do sample the field, we need to get samples from all different spots. If we just get them from one spot, it doesn't necessarily represent the whole field. So to accurately reflect the entire field, commonly we would use what we call a zigzag pattern, where we'll go from one area to another, taking a sample, maybe walk another 20, 100 feet, 10 to 15 times, taking the same amount of soil in each location. The samples we take across the field are actually all subsamples that will mix together to then take a sample out of there that we will submit to the lab. There are a number of different tools you can use to sample the soil. Specialized equipment like probes are designed especially for soil sampling. They make sampling simpler, but they aren't necessary if you're only sampling maybe every year. A more common way to sample soil would just be a shovel. A thin, narrow shovel like this is easier, although you can use shovels of really any type that are good for digging in the soil. When taking a soil sample, you basically want to go to the depth of the tillage operation. In this case, we have a field that generally we plow about 6 inches, and so I've marked my shovel with a line of 6 inches. So I'll start in one part of the field. I've got a bucket. I'll dig down 6 inches to my line, and pick up and try to basically take the same amount of soil every time you do a subsample. Once you've walked the field and taken 10 to 15 samples across the field, you'll want to mix the soil so that all the different samples from throughout the field are all mixed together. Breaking up clods, remove any rocks that you may find. You also want to remove visible organic matter, because it could affect some of the results. Thoroughly mix the soil. Once the soil is thoroughly mixed, you want to take a subsample of this mixture that you're going to submit to the lab. I have a small baggie, and the amount of soil you need may vary by the lab. Most of them need at least a few cups. So with it fully mixed, I'm just going to take a handful of soil, put it in my bag, probably add a little more. For most labs, that's probably more than enough soil for a nutrient sample. After putting the sample in a bag, you should clearly label it so you can tell which sample it is and which field it represents. In this field, the soil is quite dry and easy to mix. Sometimes if the soil is fairly wet, you may have to dry it first before you mix it to get a good subsample. Putting it out in a pan at room temperature for a few days is a good way to dry the soil. Do not excessively heat it by putting it in your oven. After you've taken your soil sample and put it in a bag, then it needs to be submitted to a lab. There's many different labs throughout the country. You'll need to contact the lab and determine which forms need to be filled out. Common information will be where you sampled it, the date you sampled, maybe the county it was sampled in, and they will commonly ask for the soil type. Many of the labs can help you determine that information, or you can work with a local agent to determine what your soil type is. For basic nutrient analysis, most labs have a fairly quick turnaround time, and you can expect to see results in 7 to 10 days, if not earlier. Depending on the lab, most of them will give you some type of recommendation based on the crop you say you're going to be growing. Soil sampling is not a one-time thing for any field or any farmer. It is a good practice to monitor the nutrient status of your fields, and to do that, you should be doing your soil sampling always at the same time of year. If you sampled one year in the spring, just continue doing that in the spring, or if you do it in the fall, just keep doing it in the fall. This way you can monitor the effect of your management changes. If your nutrient analysis said that you had low pH and needed to add lime, after adding lime you can check maybe the next year or over the subsequent years to see if the pH level is to the level that you need for your specific crop.